For those of you that have not been around my page very long, you might not know that the spring, summer, and fall of 1992, I worked for a carnival. I write about it in my first book. Yes, I have two self-published books. The first one is about the life story of my first 45 years on this planet. Anyway, 92, I worked for a carnival. I started out on one ride, and then eventually I started on the Zipper and eventually moved to the Force 10. And I can tell you that I have picked up / cleaned up my fair share of stuff that riders have either dropped or offered up as far as bodily fluids go. I have cleaned up all kinds. I've cleaned up puke. I've cleaned up shit. I've cleaned up piss. I've picked up car keys and wallets and eyeglasses and shoes that fell off of people. But I've never seen this one before. I'm sure it's happened a bunch of times, but I personally never experienced it. Somebody lost their whole fucking set of uppers. They're just up there on the rack. As soon as we get off it, we gotta get. I have never seen dentures fall out of a motherfucking ride before. All kinds of other shit. Money, keys, weed, lighters, wallets. Like I said, bodily fluids by the gallon. The amount of human vomit I've cleaned up in my lifetime is stunning. Between being a parent, being a pet owner, and being somebody that worked for a carnival, I have cleaned up all kinds of vomit. All kinds. Liquid vomit, chunky vomit, lots of vomit, a little bit of vomit. Vomit that kind of just pressure washed or sprayer washed or power sprayed all over everything. Vomit that just kind of fucking sat in a pile and rested for a minute. I've cleaned up the same thing with shit, man. Being a parent, an owner of pets, and somebody that worked for a carnival, I've cleaned up all kinds of shit, man. I've literally had people take a shit on the deck. But yeah, I've never once seen teeth fly out of somebody's head. That is a new one for me. And then what do you do? Like, as somebody that doesn't have dentures, what do you, surely you don't pick them up off the carnival deck and pop them fuckers back in, right? I mean, right? Please tell me people aren't doing, like, you got to take that somewhere and get that shit sanitized, right? There needs to be chemicals and shit needs to be soaked and marinated and whatever the fuck you got to do. Oh,